Welcome back to the one and only Studio One with you now. 3 years ago, our next guest suffered a horrible motorcycle accident which left him paralysed from the chest down.
He could have given up, but instead learned to live with his injuries and plan for the future, including a focus on fitness and athletic competition.
Here to tell us his remarkable story is a fitter and better, by his own admission, Chris Cury. Thanks so much for being with us.
Well, thanks for inviting me for dinner.
Well, we'll do what we can. A little pressure on you, Tom, tonight to perform over there in the kitchen.
Looking forward to it.
Your story is heart-wrenching, fascinating, inspiring in so many different ways. I don't really know where to start, apart from, I suppose, the day your life changed. I don't want to dwell on the accident, but what fascinated me about reading about it was that from the moment it happened, you said, or you've admitted, you knew your life had changed forever. Do you still stand by that?
Absolutely. I mean, I have a very clear vision of me lying down in the hot desert sand. It was in June, and you know that something went wrong.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously the first reflex that I had was to check my neck. You know, neck moved, hands moved. So I was feeling pretty good about myself.
Yeah.
And just as I was trying to say, you know, to the guys that were riding with me that everything's okay,
Yeah.
you know, I just see my legs being really weird, as if they didn't really belong to me anymore. They were really foreign. They were there, but not connected. So I thought, oh, probably broke my legs really bad. I go down and I start feeling and going higher and higher and higher, and since I just couldn't feel anything, I knew it.
You
That's
knew.
it. I knew, and for whatever strange reason, the first thought that came to my mind once I realized that it is definitely my life is going to change from now on. The first thought that came to my mind was, this is my new reality. And
Yeah.
I said it out loud, this
Yeah.
is my new reality.
Really?
And that helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Now, when you hit that clump of bush on that dune 3 years ago, your first reaction to that was not shock, because this has happened to you several times before. But when you actually, like you mentioned earlier, realized that there is something wrong with you, what was the first thing that came to your head, besides, you know, that this is your life from here on?
But obviously there are plenty of things that come through your head. You go through a lot of emotions, and I, again, as Tom said, I don't necessarily want to dwell on the accident. It was very scary. It was very painful. You know, I really loved life. I love life, and not only seeing life pass by and you know, letting it go. I loved really living life and taking full advantage of it. I didn't want to let that go. I didn't want to stop having a fulfilling life. And I made that decision then and there, with the help of everybody around me, that it's not going to happen.
You mentioned those people around you, your family, your friends, that support network. Are those the people that helped you through the countless hours of recovery, rehabilitation and more?
Absolutely. And I think one of the reasons why I aim to live an extraordinary life is primarily thanks to my wife. And she's been there every single minute of every step of the way, you know, literally speaking. And every single moment lived through me all the emotion, cheered me on, and helped me realize that life does go on. You know, it's not, and that's, in general, it's not because you have a challenge. It's not because you're facing adversity that suddenly your life ends. Life goes on.
Well, bless her for that. Well, one of the advantages, one of the blessings that happened to you post the accident was that, I mean, I was reading your profile and it said that prior to that you were a little sarcastic, a bit of a pessimist, a little cynical. But since the accident, you were forced to shed out all of that negative energy. And in fact, you did develop new skills, like you're a lot more cheerful. You've developed a great sense of humor to help your way out through sticky situations. Tell us about that.
Oh, absolutely. I was definitely cynical and sarcastic, but I think a lot of us are cynical and sarcastic because we're giving the permission to be. We're we're allowed to be negative. It's very easy to get attention when you're negative. It's very easy to, people accept that and in a way nourish it. So I was an opportunistic pessimist. I've always used, and I continue using sarcasm and as a way of getting through things and in a humoristic way. But at a certain time, and again, that June, that fall, at a certain time you don't have the choice anymore.
Yeah.
You're faced against something and you say, deal with it. And it's not through negative thoughts that you're going to deal with it. It's not through sarcasm. It's not by locking yourself in and going into that dark place. And that's definitely not the way.
Chris, the way you're dealing with it is truly inspirational to disabled people, to able-bodied people, to
Absolutely.
Anybody. Because from a man who was get up and go before the accident to a Dubai marathon, a Iraq half marathon, Abu Dhabi triathlon, Trias arena as well. I mean, where does this energy come from to achieve?
You know what, Tom? I think we all have it inside, and we're not getting it.
Really?
Obviously, achievement now. Look, at the end of the day, being in a chair, a lot of things change.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm now 1 meter 10 instead of being 1 meter 80. You're being looked at sometimes very differently. There is a force in me that says I want to prove myself.
Prove, okay.
And I want to be there, I want to be visible, I want to be apparent, I want people to notice me. And I also want people to notice that it's not that although I am in a wheelchair, although I have no feeling or functions below the chest, I can still compete with them.
Yeah.
And I can do exactly the same things that they can do. And I want more people in the UAE to be out there. I want the disabled of the UAE to go out, to participate in events. I want us to hold more events together. I want to see disabled people in the malls, etc. Where are we? Where are they? And that's definitely something.
Chris, your story is extremely inspiring, especially how you especially since the accident, how you started working more on the healing process rather than just the grieving process. You are an inspiration to so many people out there. Thank you so much for joining us this very evening.
Yeah, do stick around for some squid. I know the 2012 Paralympics came a little bit too soon, maybe.
Next one.
2016 Rio, I'm with you, all right? You know, if you need a team, if you need a tournament, I'm with you, all right? The whole way. Here comes Brazil.
Thank you.
Cheers, Chris. Thanks so much indeed. Right.